Grill from home. There's dogs.
It's 5:30, we're gonna bring this meeting to order. Forgot my gavel, I'm sorry, so we're gonna have to use my phone. Hopefully I don't break it. I do wanna make one announcement before we get started. In the parking lot, I guess people have parked 3 back, so a person in the middle gets stuck. So if you're parked third person back and you're kind of blocking someone in, if you could move your vehicle, that would be appreciated. We'll start with roll call. Bonnie's here, I'm here, Peggy, John, Perry, Carol, and Bill is not here. He is still dealing with some stuff. So we have 6, we have a quorum. Brings us to additions, deletions, and approval of the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to add, under new business, discussion of a packet that's been circulating around Lapeer. I think the board and the public should be made aware of it, and the message that's being presented. I feel it warrants discussion.
And you have that packet?
I thought I think it might be in my car. I can just, I was gonna share the front page with you guys, but, I can discuss what's in it.
Oh, okay. And you said you
Most
wanted...
of the stuff, the board has already seen, so.
And you want to add that to new business?
New business, yeah.
And it's discuss,
a packet that's being, created to Lapeer
Can you speak
municipality.
up, please?
Yeah, we can't hear.
We can't hear you.
okay. So we're adding to the agenda, discuss a packet being distributed. That is a request to be added. Are there any more additions or deletions? I do. Okay, seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the agenda with the amendment?
I'll make that motion.
Support? Do I have any support?
I'll support.
Okay. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, brings us to the consent agenda. We have the approval of the minutes of the June 19th regular meeting.
I have an issue with that.
Okay.
I'll use the microphone. Can it reach down here? My issue with the minutes is on the second page, budget amendment contractual services. In addition to what's already in there, I need it to be noted in the record that the budget amendment was not presented to the board until the board meeting, didn't come in the packet. In fact, the packet didn't come until the next week after our meeting. So that's an issue for that one. And then library-owned property, which is right underneath there. I'll slow down so you can get it. Mrs. Secretary.
My name's Jan.
Okay, Jan. Library-owned property says, discussion held among board members of the advantages and disadvantages of selling the library-owned vacant property. No motion made by the board. I'm the one who brought that up. We did not discuss advantages and disadvantages. I just wanted to know where the property was, how much it was paid for it, and what the plan for it was. I said something about selling it. We did not discuss anything about selling it among the board members. So I'd like that changed to say, discussion held among board members of the selling of the Discussion held among board members of the library-owned vacant property. Period. No, take out advantages and disadvantages of selling. That wasn't discussed.
These notes do go through the attorney and the board chair first, after
I
Chair
know.
gets them. So
But I'm not gonna accept them as written.
I need to ask a question. Do these changes need to go through them first?
Well, they should be, they have to go through the board.
Oh, yeah, we can, I can make a motion to
So is there
amend
any
them.
discussion about taking that out?
Seeing no discussion, I guess we can
Okay.
vote on it.
Well, we have other stuff and then we'll vote on it as a whole. And you wanted added to the budget amendment contractual services that the packet, or
The
that,
budget amendment contractual service packet was not given to the board until the meeting, June meeting, and the June packet, it was not even included in the packet. And we got an explanation, I understand, but we didn't get our packets.
Yeah, we'll have, maybe I can discuss that later. The mail has been, as Bonnie brought up, has been really bad with getting the packets out there, so we've discussed kind of what we can do, so I can talk about that.
I am
They do
happy
come
to
electronic.
second
I'm
that.
sorry,
Yeah, they do,
They do come electronically. Just-
Yeah, we have.
I know it's not the same.
right.
Is this a meeting, or are we just all gonna talk?
She's administration, that's why she's talking. Priority mail works really good.
We do, I think, so what we have done in the past, do you mind if I talk now, or do you want me to save it?
Go ahead.
The only reason we started mailing these out was during COVID. Before then, they were only given electronically and picked up at admin. So honestly, that is the best way to get you a printed copy. We can mail them out. It's very hard to come a couple days before a meeting and say I don't have a packet, because it does take time for us to copy everything and get it in there. I would say if we wanted to go back to that they are all sent electronically, and then if you want a printed copy, we can have you a printed copy ready at admin. I can mail them out, we can, there's no guarantee they're gonna get there. As Bonnie said in hers, she didn't get hers until
July.
July 2nd.
I got one of too.
So did I. But priority mail would also solve.
They do, but that gets, I mean, we can send those out there, it'll be very expensive, because the packets
$9
are
a packet.
pretty big. Yeah, so we can go through afterwards, I'll send out email and see who would rather
Okay.
pick theirs up, or who wants it sent by mail.
Thank you.
Again, if the mail doesn't go out, it doesn't. That's the hard part about that, but.
And if it's all right with everybody, we can just change the library-owned property discussion held among board members regarding selling the library-owned vacant property.
No, take out the word selling.
What's that?
We didn't discuss selling it,
Okay.
so the word
Regarding,
after.
okay, how about just regarding the library-owned vacant property? That's
I think
fine?
that sounds fine.
Okay, I will just change it to that, so we don't have to add it to our list.
Thank you.
You really can't do that. Once they're draft minutes, the board has to vote on the change
Okay,
to the
well,
draft.
no, to approve, so we
Yeah,
can.
the board has to vote on the draft change.
Right.
Yeah, because it's
I
part
think
of
we
the
were gonna, I think
consent agenda.
she might have, maybe she was gonna wait until we voted, I don't know, before she changed it. The financial reports. Any questions on those? Assistant director report and facilities report. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda with the amendments?
I'll make that motion.
Support? Discussion?
Will you read the, second one again? About the property, the sentence that you're gonna,
The sentence would read, discussion held among board members regarding a library-owned vacant property. No motion was made by the board on the matter.
thank you.
Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, brings us to our first public comment time. I will remind everyone you have 3 minutes to speak. Please be courteous to the person that is speaking. And, there's 2 public comment times, and everyone is, allowed to speak at one for 3 minutes. So you can either speak at the first one or the second one. So, sorry, is there anybody from the public who would like to speak?
I was just slowly making my way up.
Good afternoon. I'm an LDL patron and regular attendee at these board meetings. I would like to begin by saying that I oppose adding prayer to the LDL bylaws. I believe the 4 fundamentalist board members are forcing their personal religious ritual onto a secular public institution and making citizens who do not share their religious beliefs participate or feel unwelcome. If you have guests at your private home, you can ask your guests to pray with you, but this is a shared public meeting. It is not your home and it is not your church. You do not own the library and you do not own the board. The LDL serves all the citizens of Lapeer, including Jews, Muslims, Taoists, Hindus, Shintos, Wiccas, indigenous worshipers, agnostics, and atheists. I've heard board members complain that they are not respected by the public. Do you have respect for non-Christians in the county? Or is your attitude literally that non-Christians who do not share your beliefs are going to hell? After banning LGBTQ+ books, are you going after the Talmud, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, the Tao Te Ching, the Nihon Shoki, and other non-Christian sacred texts? Please remember, the United States was founded on the principle of religious freedom and the separation of church and state. We live in a democracy, not a theocracy. I also want to address the board majority's attempt to move these meetings from the evenings to earlier in the day. Clearly, this change is intended to make it more difficult for library supporters who work, especially the LDL's core supporters, including educators, librarians, degree professionals, and working parents from attending. The book banning board majority, to paraphrase Carol Brown, would like the public to just let them do what they want to do. We love our library system. We love that it strives to serve all the citizens of the county. We are not afraid of education or knowledge or our fellow readers, including LGBTQ+ people and African American citizens. Can the book banning majority say the same? I don't think so, and your attacks on books representing these communities shows us so. That's why we're here speaking out, to save our books, to save our community, and to save our library system. Making library board meetings less accessible to the public so you can mold the LDL collection to meet your fundamentalist beliefs is bureaucratic, underhanded, and cowardly, and I really don't think it will work. I hope citizens of Lapeer County will continue to speak out and defend our freedom to read. Thank you.
At last month's meeting, this board officially received a resignation letter from one of the librarians. In it, she specifically mentioned this book, Fred Gets Dressed, and she mentioned being harassed by some of the members of this board. At that meeting, I asked Ms. Brotzke to show me the pornography in this book, as she has made a number of public statements about her goal to remove pornography from our library. Rather than answer my question, she chose to leave the meeting early. I'm hoping to get an answer from her today during the time when the board members can speak. On a different issue, it's estimated that there are 10,000 faiths or religions in the world. Of the religions considered Christian, it is estimated that there are over 45,000 denominations. If you just consider the major branches of the Christian denominations, that number would be at least 46. As a government board, why do you believe that you have the right to impose your specific narrow representation of Christianity on all of us? If you're going to have prayer, you need to represent all faiths of this community.
I have only been a citizen of Lapeer County for 5 years. I have yet to give up my library card from the former county I came. And from what I have been seeing, I will not be changing to Lapeer. All right, Brave New World, you abandoned. Are we going back to 1939 when the book burning was going on because not everybody, the chiefs in charge didn't like those books? My daughter was a junior in high school. Teacher brought down the book. He says, "Will you read this down and tell me what you think about it?" I said, "Sure." She was 17 years old. He says, "What'd you think of it?" I says, "I read it as a scientific futuristic book." And I says, I didn't tell him then, but as of now, yes, we have a lot of test tube babies being born. Are they against the rules? I'm reading Colonization on the Wampanoag story. It's about an Indian tribe before Columbus and all them came and started carting them away as slaves and calling them inhuman. The Indian faith is a big part of our nation. How many of you watched Yellowstone or 1923? I couldn't watch those because I was offended by the language and the treatment of women. But yet, my choice, I shut it off. And it's fine. My husband loves it. But I didn't. In 1923, it starts out with dragging the Indian children away from their families because they were inhuman. They cut their hair. They had to learn English. They had to do this. You know what? Indian nations were a lot more forgiving than anybody here. I thoroughly believe that book banning takes us back to Nazi time. And that is not right. And if I want my child to read a book, it's not up to you. It's up to the parents here to decide what book their children read, including us. We all have a right to read what we would want. I'll pull a book off the shelf. I'll read the inside cover. If it doesn't appeal to me, I'll put it back. I could look at a book and say, you people are out of line. There's nothing the matter here. And as far as religions go, let's go to Abraham and Sarah. Abraham, your descendants are as many as the stars in the sky. Yes, they were, because Sarah hadn't conceived yet. She gave her handmaid to Abraham to conceive a child. He did, a son. Sarah then became pregnant for her son, only because God came and found favor with Abraham. So he had to ban that. That son turned out to be the father of the Muslim faith. And Abraham's son by Sarah was the founder of Christianity back in the biblical days.
Thank you, your time is up.
Okay, and one more thing.
No, your time's up.
Read the Old Testament. It's the quorum.
The Pledge of Allegiance is patriotic. Prayer is religious. They are not mutually inclusive. I hope when you go to church, you demand that the Pledge of Allegiance be said. Yeah, prayer and Pledge of Allegiance belong together here. They belong together in church also. And last month, Truman Mass compared what prison inmates cannot see with the public library. Those are two apples and oranges. He also did not mention how the rule is enforced. And did all of a sudden inmates start behaving better because they couldn't see those things? I'm sure they still see them plenty of times. And I also want to reiterate that the library is to provide information for its whole service area. Librarians do not advocate, as somebody said at the Lapeer Township meeting, books. I worked in the children's department for years. If somebody wanted a book on puberty, we would take them to the shelf and say, here they are, and let them look at it. All the years that I worked there, parents would say to your children, no, you can't take that book out. It is the parents' responsibility, not the librarians, and it is not the library's job to make it harder for some patrons to get the book they want than other patrons.
Is there anybody else from the public who would like to speak?
I'm going to add on to hers because she was a librarian. In fact, I remember her as a librarian for my child because I am a parent. And none of you have a right to tell me what my child can read. None of you. If I want my child to read Fred Wittstrass, then that's my decision, not yours. That's it.
Look, I wanted to tell you that I used to be a Christian. I understand Christian prayer. I am now Buddhist. And if you have public prayer, I will chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, which is power to the mystic power of the universe. And I will use my power to pray as well as you. I have the same rights to pray at the same time. And I also think it's horrible that you have Mein Kampf in your library and you won't allow Maya Angelou's The Caged Bird Sings. She was a national poet, a national hero. And you don't want to have her books? What's wrong with you people?
Is there anybody else from the public who would like to speak?
Hi, my name is Jacob Leroy. I'm a resident of Mayfield Township. I live at 106 Daly Road. I'm a property owner. I pay taxes to the county and including the District Library. I just wanted to say thank you for what you're doing. I support you in your efforts to get the gay sex books out of the library, as well as institute prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance and the board meetings. See a lot of science here about democracy. I'd like to remind everyone that we have a republic and not a democracy. And we are slowly losing it and getting more democratic tendencies, and I think that's a downfall of our nation. I'd also like to point out that no books are being banned. They're just simply not available in the Lapeer District Library.
That's banning.
People
This
do
is
not
his
have
public time.
People do not have a right to access any book ever made in our public library. It's simply an impossibility for our library to be the Tower of Babel and house every written work ever conceived. So some curation has to be done, and that's up to the board. So again, I support your efforts. Thank you very much.
Cheryl Matus from Matamora, and as a retired teacher, I feel the need to say this. We are a republic, this is true, but a republic is a representative democracy. So it is still a democracy, but representative. That is what a republic is. That's it.
I don't find any constitutional provision that prohibits the people from imposing their Christian will upon their representatives, and I also find that Lapeer is a Christian county. Dear Lord, thank you for this time and for your blessings and for allowing us to fellowship with each other and to be a blessing to each other, to love each other, and to show each other how you have measured your glorious grace upon us and have brought us into submission of your will. And I pray, Lord, that you would impose your will upon my public servants and allow them to do your will so that your love will be revealed in all that they do, and not to tear apart or divide the community, but bring us together in unity so that we may bring all of your love to our neighbors as well. And in this I pray by the power of your holy name that it shall be done. Amen.
My name is Heidi Wade, and I'm from North Branch, and I have to say, I'm really tired of being here trying to protect our freedoms. I think this is ridiculous. The First Amendment reads, Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech. And to kind of keep it simple, stupid, I kind of went with the AI definition. Establishing a religion means for a government to create an official state religion or to give preferential treatment to one religion over others.
This can involve enacting laws that favor a particular religion, providing financial support, or actively participating in religious affairs. The Establishment Clause of the First Amendment to the United States Constitution prohibits the U.S. government from establishing a religion. Some individuals may need to give up certain behaviors, possessions, or relationships to align with their religious beliefs. These sacrifices can range from giving up material possessions to abstaining from certain foods or activities, or even distancing themselves from certain people or social groups. So I say to you, why should you impose your religious beliefs on others that may not feel the same as you? Even if you want to take the word of the Bible, there is nothing in the Bible that tells people outside of religion how they're supposed to live. They only tell those that follow that religion. Lastly, I want to say, when we all come together and love and accept others for their differences, we are a better country and world. And let me tell you, at the end of the day, it feels much better to love your neighbor instead of having to disdain for your neighbor. And if I recall, this is one of the commandments that you all have abandoned. Love thy neighbor.
I don't come to many of these. Matter of fact, this is my first one. However, this past Tuesday was the all-star baseball game. And at the seventh inning stretch, there was a gentleman who came up, did a great rendition of God Bless America. Not only was the baseball game televised in the United States, but probably throughout Canada and other nations across the world. He was showing how God blesses America. One nation under God. I didn't hear him say anything about God singing God Bless America with the three words, except Lapeer City. Why can't we take the blessings of God and be satisfied with them? Search his Bible, search his scripture, know that he gave his son, to die. That's how much he loves us, to give his son to die for our sin. Christians perfect? Not a chance. Christians saved? Absolutely, through his son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Also, at the at the third quarter of the football games at Florida State, they say we won't back down. And I'll bet you we are not going to back down, because we feel very firmly about all of our neighbors, all of our friends, all of the people in our communities who have a right to knowledge. So we will not back down.
Hi, we're going to have prayer. I'm going to read two. With words we cry out for justice in our lives and our world. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and needy. Proverbs 31, 8, 9. Explore these. And then this one I really love. Compassionate Jesus, on the days when this work of justice and reconciliation feels like too much. Help us lighten our load. Soften our hearts to welcome people of all sexual orientations, gender identities, and gender expressions, in all of the bodies in which they encompass. Teach us to learn and relearn with humility and excitement. In your mercy, hear our prayer.
Amen.
If we must have religion, let it be compassionate.
Absolutely.
I was sitting here thinking, my name is Keller Carter, and I live in the city, and I was thinking of why is it that our nation was formed, and so I looked it up, and it said, to escape religious persecution in England and to establish a society where they freely could practice their Reformed Protestant beliefs. And then they sought to purify the Church of England, which they believed had not sufficiently broken away from Catholic practices and doctrines. They aimed to model a place where all religions could live. And basically right now it's like you're determining what should be here. And that's the separation of church and state. I as a teacher, could not teach that in my school. I remember talking about the fact that there were, you know, different religions and that some people didn't believe and that the theory of evolution, and I was nailed on that. And, you know, the same thing. I mean, why should you be able to do that to our community?
Anybody else from the public like to speak? Seeing none, I'll close the first public time. That brings us to board reports, treasurer, bills to be paid.
I have it good. Make a motion to pay the bills from June 19th through July 17th. General checking, first check 15676 has been rescheduled for a later date of $200 because of the Disney vacation planning class had to be rescheduled. Checks 15704 through 15729 for a total of $21,661.05. General checking online bill pay, check numbers GC 4500 through 4524 for $10,627.15 for a total of the general checking of $32,288.20. Payroll checking online bill, check numbers PC 2333 through 2340 for $45,886.51 for a grand total of $78,174.71.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Committee reports, finance.
After we audited the checks, there was just brief discussion that Peggy had a few questions, as did Carol. We went over that, and everything as I can see right now is okay. We have no reason to have to shift any monies this month. So that was pretty much the meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Policies and bylaws ad hoc committee.
Yep, we met to cover some housekeeping items. We established a chair and vice chair. We researched training videos from the Library of Michigan
Microphone, please.
that might be helpful.
Kari, it's hard to hear you. Can you please speak in the, sorry.
We discussed videos from the Library of Michigan that might be helpful to our committee. So we will try to watch some of those before our next meeting. We discussed what our order of business should be. We are still working on establishing days and times that works for most of us, so we can have most of our committee present. That might sound like an easy thing to do, but we have busy committee members, and we're really trying to get a consistent day. Kara is working on putting together policy handbooks. We have 2 non-board members on the committee, and so don't really want to dig into anything until they have those. I'm supposed to have those on around Friday or next Monday. So that's all I have.
Director search.
Advertising went out for a new director. A lot of applications have come in. They're in the process of going through the applications to make sure that the applicants that are applying have all the qualifications for a district library.
Where did it go out at? Any of the listservs, the Michigan listservs?
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Where did it advertise at? Any of the Michigan listservs, the library listservs?
I don't have a list. I can get a list.
Well, there's only one library listserv, like the main one.
Okay.
And then do you have the updated contract with the wording that was from last time changed?
I'm not sure I do. You sent me something.
No. At the last meeting, there needed to be changes that the lawyer recommended in the contract. So we need
No, we did that. We made those changes.
Okay, but we need a signed contract from them with those changes.
Okay, we have one, I think.
Yeah, because they had to change it on their end.
Right.
Not us.
They did.
Yeah, okay.
I signed it. Okay, Lapeer County report. None. Unfinished business. Brings us to the proposed amendment to the bylaws regarding the Pledge of Allegiance and prayer. So,
I'd like to make a motion for us to accept Pledge of Allegiance and prayer before our meeting.
I support.
What's the number on the amendment?
125.
I don't have 2025-1, 2025-2, and 2025-3.
do I have a second?
I have a discussion.
Let's do a second
We gotta
first
get a
and then we
second
can get to
first.
I support, yeah.
All right, now we're to discussion.
Under Article 4, Section 5 would be amended, and it has a listing of agenda order. I would like to take that out. I don't think that needs to be in there.
We
can't vote it that way,
We
yeah.
can't vote. There's a motion on the floor to approve this. We can't have.
Can't break it down per 1, 2, and 3.
I mean, you can, but you'd have to vote on it at the meeting.
The bylaws, a bylaw change can only be changed if that version was presented to the board at the previous meeting. So the only version that can be approved tonight is the version that's on the floor. If it's changed, it has to come back for another meeting.
Can I ask your reasoning? Yeah. I just don't think that needs to be part of the bylaws, how meetings run.
Well, I think that can be something that maybe the policy and bylaws committee can address.
That's another thing.
They
Yeah.
can address that there.
So
Are you on that?
I am on that committee, and so my recommendation is wait until the policy and bylaw committee gives their recommendation to vote on this. Although I don't want to prolong some of it. Just number 3.
Okay, is there any more
What do you mean number 3?
discussion?
This third one, addition to order of the agenda. Well, it's not that part, it's not the addition, it's the article, section 5 itself. But because it's in the bylaws, that's why it's worded this way. I'll take my motion or my suggestion back.
I'd just like to add my 2 cents that I still wish that this would have been 2 different motions, one for the pledge, one for the prayer.
I struggle with understanding that, although I respect what you're saying, but in the pledge it says one nation under God, but yet you don't want to pray to God. I don't, can you help me understand why?
Yeah, it's a separation, church and state. Sorry, that's my.
Separated in the pledge.
It's in the Constitution.
The pledge can be one thing, a prayer can be another. I don't think it
Bringing
should be
God
one
into it,
thing.
but God is in the pledge, then it's not.
I'm I'm not gonna get into any kind of a religious argument or discussion with him. That's just, I just wanted to, on the record, why I disagree with him.
Okay.
What do you, did you want to go, Gary?
I also feel you've got asking for bylaw amendments 2025, 1, 2, and 3. And I don't see why we have to vote for everything that's on here. They should be voted separately, each one of them.
Motion on the floor is for all three.
I understand that, and I'm giving you my two cents for it, why I can't agree with that.
Okay. Is there any more discussion?
Yeah, I've heard a couple people from the public say, you know, you Christians, you want to add prayer. Are Christians the only one that prays? Like, I didn't think so. For me, I feel like prayer can be calming and uniting, and that's just my personal belief that that's what it does for me. It's not mandatory, as someone said. You know, you do have the option to not participate, and members of the public, as you saw tonight, have the option to get up and give their prayers. And I've been torn about the decision of having, adding the prayer to the agenda as opposed to it being done during public time. I know that's how the city does it. But the county, they have prayer. It doesn't seem to harm anybody. Nobody seems to complain about it. Lapeer Township, they did used to have it wasn't actually a policy, but they did have a member of Lapeer Township, Jana Adams. She would get up every day and every meeting and say the prayer. She's passed away, and now that's gone away. So I'm leaning more towards having it just a part of our agenda. I know one of the board members said we don't need it. Well, I feel we need it more than ever. And maybe we can find a non-denominational way to pray so that everybody feels comfortable. But again, there's nothing mandatory about it, and just you're welcome to not participate and add your own prayer during public time.
During public time, not overriding whoever's doing the prayer.
Yeah, and I'm more of a private prayer person. I'm not one to usually lead prayer in my home. My husband says it at dinner, and but I do follow along in prayer, and it's very comforting to me, and I feel it's a uniting thing, and that's my reason for wanting it.
I'm gonna make one other note. I wouldn't mind even if this was said as a moment of silence for everyone. If they want to pray themselves, can do that, but it doesn't have to be a public prayer.
I can support that.
I'll give my reasons why I want it, since I haven't. We are a Christian nation. Yes, we do.
No, we're not. I'm sorry, it's not for you guys to participate in our discussion.
We were founded as a Christian nation.
No, we weren't.
Carol,
Constitution.
You have to be quiet, or you have to leave.
Thomas Jefferson's Bible.
Please.
You need to be quiet, or you need to leave.
Next one.
Would you like that?
Okay,
Remove me then.
As a Christian nation, and it's important to me that we recognize God, respect Him, and ask Him to be present, to help us, give Him wisdom to make good decisions for our library. A lot of our government meetings start with prayer, just because Lapeer City doesn't. I think it's necessary.
Your God's not everybody's
Okay,
God.
I'm sorry,
You can't
the
speak.
next person that speaks is going to have to leave. Okay, because we're trying to conduct a meeting, and now you're crossing the line, and now you are violating our policies. If we can't conduct our meeting because of your outburst, then we're gonna have to ask you to leave.
I'm done.
Is there any more discussion? Okay, all those, let's do a roll call vote. John?
Yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
Yes for me. Bonnie?
No.
Perry?
No.
Motion carried.
Can we hear the private conversation, please?
Okay, next we have the.
Do we need to make note in the minutes if
proposed-
someone leaves?
John, can you
Yeah.
stay? Can you just stay? You can just.
We'll call him back.
It's the police he's calling because of all the disruption, so. We can take a short break while we wait. Shane! Motion for us to take a short break.
Second.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
No, not me.
Okay, next on the agenda. Proposed amendments to the bylaws
On the main section.
for Article 9, Section 4,
Thank you.
of Agenda 5, Board Action Article, oh, I'm sorry, that's 4, Article 4, Action Article 9, Section 1.
You said
This
Oh, I'm
says
sorry.
six.
Article,
This says four, this says
says
six.
Article 6, agenda.
Next
Six,
says six.
Article 9. Gary, is that right? Article 6 and 9?
mine says,
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
it
sorry.
should, I believe it is.
okay, the
I
agenda.
don't have the,
It's wrong in the agenda.
Okay. Okay. This was presented at the last meeting. Is there a motion to approve these changes to the, this
I'll
is to the
make a
bylaws?
motion, I'll make a motion that we make these amendments to the bylaws.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that I feel like all three of these additions is really gonna delay the process of any, work that our bylaws and policy committee wants to do. We're already really far into, we're already in July and we've just started meeting, so I guess it's, really my main objection is that it's just gonna delay, any changes that we wanna do.
I don't see why it should delay you. Even if these pass, you're gonna go through the bylaws and propose changes anyways.
But isn't your amendment asking that we present it in writing and then the next time we vote on it? And I mean, all the board members.
It's trying to be transparent to the public.
Right, I mean.
Right now,
everything-
right now, we don't have a very good opinion that the board's being transparent. This will guarantee that we're being transparent, and maybe we have a little more faith from them in the board.
Well, anything that would be a proposed change would come before the full board and would be in front of the public.
And their meetings are open to the public.
I
for
understand
them to
that.
go to.
All this is doing is making sure that,
If their meetings are, I'm sorry, do we have to post that if they're open to the public?
That's why they're posted, is because
They
they're
were,
open to the
that
public.
last one wasn't posted.
Yeah, it was.
No.
It was posted on.
She made a private reservation in our meeting room.
We had a first meeting with no business. It was to get the board members the information that they needed to start our meetings.
Okay, if it is open to the public, we have to post that in all of
I
our
thought you
branches.
just posted
It
it.
was posted. I saw
No,
it.
where? She did a private reservation
On
in
the
our meeting
website.
room.
On the website and then.
That
on
is
the
not,
calendar.
that is not a public, we have to post it on paper in all of our branches. I'm sorry I interrupted, I didn't know that one was an
Yeah, they
actual-
are all public.
So, and before, I need to know at least 3 days ahead, so we have to post it 72 hours before the meeting.
Okay.
And if there's I believe if there's an agenda, I have to have that too, to put out 3 days before the meeting. But we can check on that, because I know there's a difference between a special meeting and an ad hoc meeting.
I will double check with our legal counsel and make sure that we are doing everything.
Yeah, but if you just make a reservation or a meeting room, that does not mean, that doesn't even go through me, that goes to a different person completely. So I don't see those reservations, they're considered private reservations, so they don't even show up on our main calendar.
Okay, well, I'll make sure that everything we're supposed to be doing, we are doing.
Okay, sorry, Perry, you continue, I didn't want to.
Is there any more discussion?
Yeah, or Peggy, are you done?
Oh, I was just gonna say, isn't this what our bylaws and policy is formed for? Like, that we're gonna be addressing all of these things.
Why
and-
do it 2 times? Let's wait for
But
the
I will-
recommendation.
Yeah, I will-
Why do it 2 times? Because maybe I don't trust you doing it the first time.
The first time you wanted to pass this, and I'm saying we have a committee that's working on it.
I understand that, and we usually go through the bylaws every year
Yeah.
and make
Meeting was
proposals.
canceled.
We didn't have an ad hoc committee when
Right.
I did this, and I still think that this needs to be changed as of now, to be more transparent to the public. And it's not, there should be nothing in here that you're afraid of. All I'm asking you to do is and we would do that anyways, you're going to post when you make your changes at one meeting. You have discussions. But I'm asking also that you also put in the agenda, the correspondence of everything that you want to make the changes to, that the public is able to see prior to the voting.
I'm confused about what agenda correspondence is. What is it? Is it what comes in our packet?
It comes in, we get a packet with the agenda, and I would like the correspondence of whatever amendments you want to make included in that agenda. I think if you look,
On the bylaws?
no, not the bylaws, when you get your agenda, it actually doesn't say on your correspondence, well, yeah, it'd be under communications.
Okay.
So whatever changes you want, when the agenda goes out, that would be part of the correspondence. The general public would be able to see it, and if they have comments to make on it, they can do that in their 3 minutes. They may, and chances are you're not going to get a lot.
I'm kind of confused.
All it is trying to be transparent with the public.
Right. Does the
And if you
public-
have a problem with that,
No.
I just don't understand it.
Does the public get these agendas before, like we do, before the meeting?
They're published 3 days before,
Okay.
or at least supposed to be, 72 hours.
Well, I'm not afraid of it, and I'm wondering how the public is supposed to trust us if you, as a board member, wanna stand up here or sit here and say that you don't trust us. But I have it, I will review it with our committee, and, maybe we'll take it.
I mean, you may add that in with here, as your
Maybe,
new stuff, I don't know.
And it may come to light and the committee says, yeah, I think this was a good idea, and then, but at this time, I'm gonna vote no.
That's your,
I know, right?
Number 2, I think it's redundant. I think it talks about.
yes, I understand it's redundant. There was a reason for that.
Which is?
Because so many times amendments are proposed and no one ever gets a chance to see what the proposed amendments are. And I'm trying to give them the opportunity to see it before we vote on it.
We did give the proposed amendments for the bylaws for the prayer and pledge.
This time we did, yes,
Okay. What other time didn't we?
Pardon?
When was another time that we didn't provide a change to the bylaw in writing? Because it's part of our bylaws.
When motions are made at the meeting itself, and you want to vote on it on the same day, and people have no idea what that is.
We already know we can't do that
Well,
until the next.
Now,
And it has
now
to be
you're following a
It's already
different
written
procedure.
that way, yeah, and we're
So-
following that procedure. I just wanna make a statement that, the policies, as far as, I know that right now, as far as the bylaws, it has to be in writing, the meeting prior, and then after that, we have to vote on it. I'm not in agreement with doing that with, our policies, and that's because policies are kind of more of an everyday practice, and we have to be able to make sure that we can change those in a timely manner. And going back to the policy that we did just have to change, that was not constitutional, that the past director, I guess, took it upon herself to change it. And I'm glad that we were able to catch it, because it was unconstitutional, and things like that have to be able to be made.
Which one?
The policy act, the one that we just voted on.
Oh, last week?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, last meeting.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, things like that are unconstitutional, we don't wanna put it off. You know, we wanna be able to say, we need to change this, it's not according to the law, and
But this
that way we
isn't,
eliminate
this isn't
ourselves
part
from
of the
being-
policy, this is the bylaws.
No, this is for the policy, amendments, down on, Article 9, for the amendment. So that's only my, concern, and why I would vote no, because I wanna be able to have our policies move forward quickly if there's anything that changes. It just helps the flow of the working of our board and the library.
I have a comment about the amendments. Section 1 you were fine with, and you wanted to add 2.
Pardon?
You wanted to add a section 2 to the amendments?
Yeah.
Okay, all you have
Section
to
1 I
do
didn't
in
have a
section
problem.
1, it says bylaws, all you have to do is add policy amendments to the first one. You don't need the second sentence. Just add policy amendments to the first section. 2 words.
You can't change it if you're gonna vote on it today, right?
So, is there any more discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Start with Carol.
No.
Peggy.
No.
John.
No.
I'm a no. Bonnie.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion fails. Okay, next we have change of meeting date, time, and location. Any discussion on that? I know last meeting there was some discussion on some different days, times. The American Legion came up as an option for us on Thursday mornings at 10? 10 on Thursday morning.
In the American Legion, we can't do this meeting or at 5:30, because we have the young Marines every single week for us. So not even another Thursday would work, and then our attorney has, a lot of conflicts.
please, louder?
In the evening with other
Right.
municipalities that you guys done.
So I'd like to make a motion to go with the American Legion.
Can I add some discussion to that? Or you wanna do your
Oh,
motion
let's have
first?
him finish the motion.
Right.
I'd like to make a motion to change it to the third Thursday of the month at 10 o'clock at the American Legion. They have heat there, it doesn't rain inside the building, and they have air conditioning, so that's my suggestion.
I'll support.
Now, discussion.
Okay, in regards to changing the meeting time and day, I looked back at all previous board minutes and discovered that the meeting time changed from 2 p.m. to the current time of 5:30 p.m. in 2018. With that said, according to our bylaws, Article 6, Section 1, regular meetings, the regular meeting of the library board shall be held on each month. The date and time to be set by the library board at its first meeting in January. That's in our bylaws.
That was never
Since-
done.
That's what I'm saying, so that was according to our bylaws. Since the meeting time has been the same for 7 years and all members of the board
should have reviewed this before accepting this position. I personally find it ridiculous that a board of 7 people wants to change their meeting time and day for just one member. I don't think it should be a
It's actually 2 members, because they have a conflict too. And
Well-
when I took this, please, let me finish. So, when I took this, I mean, our meetings were 20 minutes. And Kari and I were joking about that, because her husband was at the county commissioner board. And we were joking how he was gonna be jealous because our meetings were so short. Well, they are so long now.
Right, and I look back at meetings from other years, and they have been shorter in the past. It just depends, things ebb and flow, so I understand that. But I still think 2 people out of 7, it shouldn't be changed. That's
Actually, it's 3.
my opinion. Okay, now,
Because I
okay,
did- I
then
did
why
that.
is anybody on this committee? They should know that it's at 5.
Because it didn't go until 7:30, 8 o'clock. And I did legit have somewhere to be at 7:30 in Lake Orion. That's why I had to leave early during the last month. I'm pretty flexible with my time, and I really think that changing it to 10 o'clock is gonna give people the opportunity that can't come at 5:30. I know there's a lot of families after school, they have sports. And if we change it and there's a decrease in public participation, is there anything to say that we couldn't change it back or
Why
alter
can't
the
we,
time?
why can't we do 5:30 on a different night?
Because there's other people that have conflicting, schedules on those nights.
Okay, I also would like to say that, as you probably know, I like to research facts. There's 18 townships in Lapeer County. I wanted to find out when they hold their township board meetings for comparison to our 5:30 p.m. meeting time. Out of 18 townships in Lapeer County, 9 hold their meetings at 7 p.m. 2 hold their meetings at 7 p.m. or in the a.m. They have an alternating system. 1 holds their meeting at 7 p.m. or 6 p.m., alternating months. 3 hold their meetings at 6 p.m., 2 hold them at 7:30, and 1 holds their meeting at 5:30. The majority hold their meetings in the evening, so that the public can.
So the county commissioners hold theirs.
I know, there's
at
in
9
the
a.m.
morning, I know that, 9 o'clock.
And a lot of these people that are here are at that meeting on a regular.
Go ahead, Perry.
I think that if you change the meetings to 10 o'clock in the morning, you're stabbing the general public in the back.
Yes.
That's the purpose.
And I think that's what your purpose is.
Yes.
That's the reason why.
Don't accuse me
Yeah,
of
that's
anything.
not. That is, yeah.
All you do is accuse us,
Yeah.
just stop.
Yeah,
No.
Yes.
If the shoe fits, wear it.
It does not
You
fit.
cannot
And you just make up stories.
Oh, I make up
Speak into the
stories.
microphone, I
And tell me
can't
about
hear.
the call from California.
My problem's not so much time and date, and I'm not the one that started this. It's this building. It's freezing in the winter. I don't wanna be here. You don't wanna be here probably. And it's, yeah, the rain comes in, there's buckets down. This is a crummy place to meet.
If we were holding our meetings.
That's my main thing.
If
Our
our meetings
acoustics aren't very good here.
That's right, they're not. If our meetings were at the library, we could possibly explore the idea of alternating the timing.
But the venue's not big enough.
Right,
The library,
so-
they get canceled a lot.
So, yeah.
When you had your organizational meeting last year, did they vote at that time where the meetings would be held?
We do that at the beginning of this year, and that was never done.
I'm talking about last year.
Yes, it was done.
It was
And was
decided.
it determined that it would be held at this place?
Yes, and it's been paid for the whole year.
No, that was done, that wasn't done last year. That was supposed to be done this year.
When the schedule was put out, is it the November meeting? So it was approved, I believe, in November. I can look back.
But it says that it's supposed to be approved, the schedule is supposed to be approved in our
Okay.
bylaws at the first meeting.
I'll look back and see, but we have to approve them at some point, so they had to have been approved, because they're posted on the website. So I don't know which meeting
Not approved
it
by
would have
the
been
board.
in.
No, what happened was Bill approved them without the board's consent.
Do you want me
To
to?
move it here,
I can
because too
look
many
on the
people
website
came.
I
and see.
looked back at minutes from this past year, and there's nothing that says that it was
Okay.
ever brought.
It should say on the, agenda itself when they were approved, or on the minutes themselves. So
Yeah,
I'll-
there's nothing on the minutes this
Just-
year.
I know I'm not a part of this board, but say it's going to be very hard to have it during library business hours for us. We will basically have to shut our admin building down.
Kara, that's not true. I have 10 emails here from you where you were not in the admin building, you were gone for a week, and it was never closed down.
Well, I would have to come to these meetings during it,
I
and
think once a month you could spare.
Okay.
Especially when you were telling me numerous times that, sorry, you were not in the office all day, I'm not gonna be in the office this day, I'm gone for a week at a conference, so,
got it.
So was your first meeting this year in February?
yes.
Yes.
So was there a vote then
No.
about when
No.
meetings
No.
would take place?
We can't hear you.
I asked if, the first meeting was in February this year, and I asked whether or not there was a vote at that time in terms of where the meeting location would be.
What was the answer?
No. So. Any more discussion? Because there is a motion on the floor for that.
I'll support the motion.
Is there discussion?
I have no more discussion, sorry.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. New business. Permission request for July 27th, Columbiaville branch outreach.
So that is where we also did it last year. It's for the farmer's market. It's just nice to have the branch open at the same time, so that way, if people need to use the restroom, we usually staff it with somebody. We are pretty low on staff right now, so I don't know if we're going to go to this, but I thought it would be better to have it on the agenda and approve rather than not be able to go, so.
So do you need a motion to approve this?
Yes, please.
Is there a motion to approve the permission for request for July 27th, Columbiaville branch outreach?
I'll make a motion for that.
Do I have support?
Support.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have what was added to the agenda by Peggy is to discuss a packet being distributed to the public.
Yes, and I apologize, I don't have the packet with me. I think I got left in my car. I have concerns. It's being distributed by an organization called Fight for the First Lapeer. My main concern is there is a confidential memo in that packet. That is a memo that was passed out to the board members during a closed session. We, as board members, were not allowed to keep this memo. In fact, it was on top of a board member's folder, and it was taken off of it. As far as I know, it's never been in a board packet, and so this memo is being distributed, and I have concern that it may or may not be violating an Open Meetings Act, or the meeting was confidential. We were told specifically, you cannot keep this. You can read it, but you cannot keep it. And so now that is being distributed. The other thing in the packet is the invoice from the attorney. I am not sure if what's in that is violating attorney-client privilege. At the very least, it's a very detailed invoice, and it has names, possibly names of patrons that now their FOIA, what they FOIA'd, that's all going out to many municipalities it's being distributed to. So I have concern about that. The message that goes along with it is that the board is not being financially responsible. One of the things that is being shared, again, is the invoice of the attorney that was in the budget amendment that we didn't get in our board packets. It got passed out to us at the board meeting. But to spread this message that we're not being financially responsible, it's for board members, again, we're singled out and we're named, and we're not being financially responsible or transparent. The issue of who we voted for a search firm and how much we have raised, or charged in attorney fees came up. But, really the people that you are spreading this message to are not understanding. They don't have the background of what's going on and why our attorney fees are so much right now.
Can I just add something real quick? I don't mean to interrupt you, but when you talk about the attorney fees, I did want to note that it was said, if I'm not mistaken, that at the beginning of the year, we had $4,800 allocated for attorney fees in the budget.
Yep.
I requested all the invoices from Foster and Swift, and from January 1st until March, after they were done, they had already blown through our budget. They came in at $5,530. So, I mean, 4,800 Foster and Swift, everybody says, you know, they're saying that they were a better attorney, but they had already blown through the entire budget. And that was just in the first 3 months. So $4,800 for attorney fees clearly wasn't even enough for Foster Swift for the year.
So, yeah, so the message is being, you know, the board is being attacked. It's board bashing. You just bash our board, and it's, for things like that, and it's making, I agree that the message starts out that that is our board's number one priority, is to be fiscally responsible, to make sure this library keeps going. But what's important to know is that our millage is our main source of funding. And if this continues, this board bashing that's going on, and this, some of it misinformation, I'm not sure what the point is. It's kind of like that saying goes, you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. You know, you want to say, hey, they're not being fiscally responsible, but then you're making our millage at risk. And so I just thought it was important for the board to know that this is happening. The places that it's been distributed is the city meeting, the county meeting, Elba Township, and Lapeer Township that I know of for sure. And so those two documents, the memo that, in my opinion, was confidential, and it was, passed out during closed session, and then the invoice. I don't know what the legalities of that can be passed out to everybody. And I do understand that once it's in a board packet, it's, a public document. But I also have heard that other places that have FOIA'd, and to my knowledge, this document wasn't FOIA'd. I know of some people that have requested, is this one that you requested? Yeah, you were telling me about that, from the city, and there's lots of stuff redacted. So
The city is not a library. The city is not a library.
I'm talking about FOIAs.
I am also weighing in here because you need to make that distinction to everyone here.
Mm-hmm.
There is a difference, and I'm not going to push back again. If you don't make that distinction, we're going to continue to have this communication barrier.
Right.
And I know none of us want that.
I'm saying that I don't know if this information should be redacted. That would be up to our attorney to determine. But I know that there are other places that do redact it. So it's just a concern. I thought all of the board members should know about it, and also members of the public should know.
Kari, just for your information, we discussed at the Finance Committee how the budget was made as far as the legal fees went, and I believe that both Carol and Peggy agreed with what we had told them. It's kind of a guess game. They go back a year or two, they look at what the legal bills are, and then they put that in, because you have absolutely no idea what's going to come through the,
Right,
the
and I
following
understand,
year.
because we are dealing with a lot, and I just want people to know that I, as the chair, I'm gonna run everything by you, because the meetings are like this, and I know we are under a microscope, and we have special interest groups that are just waiting in the wing for us to have any kind of illegal misstep to sue. And I wanna protect the board, and I wanna protect the library, as well, so that we don't get sued. So the minimal fees that we're paying to him are minimal compared to what a lawsuit would cost. And that's, why maybe right now with the heat that we are receiving, I just need to make sure that we don't we're not doing anything that we shouldn't be doing to protect us and, the library, so.
I have something else to share about the FOIAs. I went through this budget amendment that a lot of you have, and $4,300 of it is for FOIA. So almost a third of what the lawyer's fees are is because of FOIA requests. Just thought that was interesting and you should know that.
Okay, is there any more discussion on that? The agenda is in here somewhere.
And I think whoever requests FOIAs, we're gonna be discussing this, should have to pay for that. The time, the paper, the printing. I only did one FOIA in my life. When my brother passed away, I wanted police reports from the city, had to go to City Hall. I had to pay for that. So anybody who wants FOIA information like that, I think you need to pay for it.
Okay, staff reports, director, none. Assistant director, technical services.
Any questions on that one?
Yes,
Oh,
I-
no, there isn't any motion for that, that was just a.
No, I have questions, if anybody has questions on my report, sorry.
Oh, I thought you said, is there a motion?
No, sorry.
I do, actually, I would like to make a motion, for the collection HQ, I would like to make a motion to put that on hold until we have a director.
Well, we can, the director would not usually get trained on that. The director would get trained on it, only the people doing the collection would. We have paid for it already. I
Okay.
don't know if they will, it's already going. We haven't been trained on it yet. I don't know if they will be training later if we don't. Like, if we say we're not gonna use it for 6 months or whatever, I don't know if they'll train us then on it, because we have already paid for the service.
Okay, well, I don't know enough about it, but what you have shared with me, it sounds like it's a software program that does it select the books that come in?
No.
Or just the books that go out?
No,
Like
neither. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I thought you had said before, it keeps track of the circulation, and, if books aren't circulated, it'll be like flagged for, okay, remove this book, it hasn't been checked out. I thought that's what you explained before.
It'll create a list,
Right.
and then the department heads can look at that and decide. So let's take example that if it says this book hasn't checked out in 3 years, they can go to it and they say, well, we're the only one in Michigan that owns it, I'm not gonna get rid of it. So it never automatically does anything.
Okay.
It only creates lists. Like I said, I haven't been trained on it. I don't know how much it tells you what to, I don't think it tells you what to buy. It will say, for example, what I've seen of it, the short demo, we had a 15-minute demo. So for example, our Clifford Branch Library, it looked at its collection and it said, the Clifford patrons are checking out 75% fiction, but your nonfiction is much larger than it should be. So we realized like that collection, the fiction collection needs to be bigger. And in nonfiction, it'll look at, okay, you have baking, religion, parenting. Your parenting books are going out crazy. You need more parenting ones. It's not gonna say which parenting ones to buy. It's just gonna look at the overall collections and make recommendations based on that.
Well, when I looked it up online, it did have, the option to, it said save money by, letting us, decide your materials or provide a material list. So I still, I would like to put it on hold. Even though you have paid for it, hopefully they will just let us, hold it until our situation, until we do have a director. It sounds to me like it's kind of a major software change, and I just don't think it's anything we should do until we have a director.
Okay.
I've also heard from the public a lot of comments that they feel that the librarians and the staff should be responsible for what material comes in and what comes out. They're trained, they're the experts, and I feel like this might possibly take that away from them. I don't know enough about it. I have been trying to get a better understanding of our whole collection process. We had talked about maybe the board, setting up a meeting, and so we can, you know, have
I
a
can send you
good-
the link to Collection HQ too. It's through Baker and Taylor, which is the vendor that we use. So they do have a pretty vast, like, training website on it. Like I said, we had a quick 15-minute phone call, but we haven't actually been trained further than that on it.
Okay, well, I'd still like to put the motion out there to put it on pause until we have a director.
Okay, is there support?
I'll support that.
Is there any discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Put that on hold. Communication, we have the June statistics. Anything on that? Brings us to board comments or requests for information.
I have some comments I would like to make. At last month's meeting, a few questions were asked by somebody in the public, and I'd like to respond. I currently have a library card. It says Lapeer District Library, so I must have received it after we became a district library, which I believe was in the early 2000s. The last time I personally was at the DeAngelis branch was in February of 2025 to volunteer with a play group sponsored by the Family Literacy Center. The last time I was at my local branch, which is where I usually go, is in Hadley. That was a week ago, July 10th, for their monthly book club. And then I would also, you already heard my stuff about in regards to the meeting times, etc. My last thing I'd like to say is, regardless of what the Lapeer County Press printed about me on June 22nd, 2025, I am not a member of any political party.
I would like to mention board members are free to discuss what they want, but as a library board, institutionally, we are forbidden by the Library Privacy Act of Michigan to disclose who are library patrons or not. So that is, it's a serious offense under the statute, and so I just want people to understand the legal background on that.
I'd like to remind everybody that August, we do not have a board meeting. So we will resume board meetings again in September.
Okay, I do have a few things. I'd just like to go into a little bit further on the concern over the attorney fees. And I remember my very first board member. We had a public figure get up and very adamantly pointed at the board and told us that he's lawyered up and he's watching us and we better not mess up. So I just want to reiterate what Kari said, that yes, we are using our lawyer, our counsel probably more than other boards have, but you know, when you have that at the onset, then I think it's justified, and consultation is definitely much less than a lawsuit. And as Carol said, the uptick in FOIAs and our extra long meetings are all adding, factoring into that. And back to the organization Fight for the First, that is distributing the packet and spreading the message. I personally was at the Lapeer Township board meeting. They are the township that appointed me. I give a report there every month, and I say all good things about this library. I always start out with all of the wonderful programs that we have. There were a lot of people there, a lot of extra people. Normally the township is just 3 or 4 people, but they were holding a public hearing, and it was a good opportunity to brag this library up and to say positive things about it. So my reports generally are like that. I go over a couple of activities that are being offered. I always start with good news. I talk about board business and our upcoming action items, And then very briefly, I will talk about how many people were here and kind of generalize what the comments were about. That particular meeting, I did say that there were mixed comments from the public about adding prayer and pledge, and they were concerned over the attorney fees. Following me was the fight for the first representative, and she, like I said, to me it was just 3 minutes, maybe a little bit less of board bashing, and I don't know the goal of that, the goal for doing that, and again, it's, I believe it's putting our library at risk for a millage passing. And all of the things the public has to say, you have every right to say it. But there's a lot of things being said over and over about the book banning and pulling the books and targeting these books. None of that is happening. It has not been on any agenda. You have every right to come and speak your piece. But I don't mean this to sound condescending either, but at the end of the day, we're on the board and you're not. We're gonna be making the decisions. So if you wanna be a part of that decision, I would just ask that you be a little more diplomatic in your concerns and the solutions, and not just go around bashing this board every chance that you get. Also at that meeting, I gave my report. I gave my report in the beginning of the meeting. I'm sorry. And then the second public time is when Fight for the First got up and presented their message, and then I followed with a much more passionate response than I normally give, because it was a very long day. I had some things going on, and all of the things that were being said, so I did address pretty much point for point everything that that speaker had laid out. And then following me, another person got up and spoke publicly, and they were supporting the board, and they were kind of criticizing this organization and the amount of board bashing that they're doing and the names we get called at the public meetings. And so and that person told me that at the end of the meeting, this person that was fighting so hard for free speech, Fight for the First, came up to him, who had every right to say what he wanted to say, and verbally abuse the speaker. How dare you? How dare you speak out against my organization? So I find it really, really conflicting. Like, I don't know what you want. I don't know what your goal is. I just think it's not doing anybody any good, especially this library. Again, I started to make check marks how many people got up and are concerned about book banning. Where is it? Where is the book banning? Where are the books that are getting restricted, or the books that are getting targeted by viewpoint? It's just not happening. But like I said, you're welcome to get up every month and say it again. Leslie Getz, I did answer your question about your book, Fred Gets Dressed. I answered your question on social media. You asked me, what's the problem with this book? And I told you, I don't know. If somebody had concerns, you could find out, you could do a FOIA and find out who did the reconsideration, if it was done, and why they were against this book. I did not challenge this book. So I've already answered your question. You just don't like my answer, I believe. And also there was another time, I believe you came possibly to the Tea Party meeting, and you quoted me on social media as saying, yeah, Peggy Brotzke was there. I'm paraphrasing. Peggy Brotzke was there, and she said she doesn't want to ban books. She just wants to protect kids. Blah 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 is what you said. That's how you quoted me. So why don't I just save you the translation and answer you that way? Blah 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 blah. You're not hearing what I'm saying. You ask me a question, I give you an answer. So I don't know what to say. I've already answered you, I've answered you again. I do not know why that book was challenged or who challenged it.
Carol?
Yeah, I would like to say, the free speech everybody's talking about concerns adults, not children. Children can't smoke cigarettes. Children aren't supposed to get into R-rated movies. There's age limits on that kind of thing. And, you know, I would say, this is just me, nobody else on this board, that I think we need to have a rating system on our books so that under 18-year-olds cannot take out certain books. Just like they can't go get cigarettes and stuff like that. The rest I've already said. I'm done. Get off the free speech. It's not talking about for children in the First Amendment.
It does. But again, I just want to reiterate, nothing on our agenda has reflected any restricting, banning, or whatever. We have other things on our plate that we're having to deal with, and that is not even on the radar. So, Kari, did you have anything? You good?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Brings us to our next public comment. If you've already spoke at the first one, that was your time. Anybody else who would like to speak, you have 3 minutes. Is there anybody from the public who would like to speak? Okay.
Go ahead. You guys might want to come close. I have to preface this, that if a rumor has reached my ears that the firm that was suggested to do the search, that one board member either has a personal or business connection with them somehow. Like I say, it is a rumor that has reached me. This board might want to go into one of their private sessions and ask about it. I have listened to you people talk about conflict with other meetings. I've been on the same board for 18 years in this county. And I've never had a conflict because I know what days I have to meet and what things I can adjust for and can't adjust for. If you can't make these meetings and make your other meetings, make a choice where you want to be. I have watched 2 people on this board over the course of several meetings be ignored, shut down, talked down to, motions tried to slide through after it was agreed the motion was going to be made. And all I have to say is my apologies to both of you. I'm sorry somebody's pulling the golden showers on you, but a princess is a princess. You must mind your place. So, Mr. Denney, last meeting, when there was arguments going on and Mr. Perry was being ignored and tried to shut down, I called point of order from the floor. And you said, this is not public comment time. You, sir, have known me a few years, and you know there is a difference between public comment and a point of order. A point of order deals with the situation going on and taking place and being taken care of in the meeting. They're 2 separate things. They were trying to shut him down, and in case you guys, I'm sure you realize it, the rest of the board is going to pee on your parade until you're gone.
Where to start? So many things came up today. First of all, Carol, you did bring up selling the property last time.
I said I did.
Okay, well, then you're so adamant about getting it struck off, but you said it. You literally said it. I watched that meeting for 2 hours from 5 to 7 a.m. today. So I remember it very well. And just remember, you've got 3 cameras on you now. And even though you've changed the time, and in September I'm going to be at work at 10 a.m., like 84% of the working population is at work during the day. I can get somebody else to run these cameras. It's not that hard. So, as for that confidential memo, I'm the one who discovered that, okay? At least amongst my friends here. And it was in a board packet. How do you think I got it? You think I like snuck in the office with all those people sitting there? I wouldn't do that anyway. It was right in a board packet. It was public information. Information that we get by FOIA also becomes public information. So, the lawyer invoice was public information that was emailed to me. Now, as far as printing costs, Carol, for FOIAs, I've never gotten a printed one here. I've always gotten a digital, so that's not even a cost. Also, all those fees, and just like I talked about last time, $100 for one silly file, over $100 for one file that would take less than 5 minutes for any director to send to me, that was public information anyway. I mean, really, we should pay for these things that we're asking for, that Mr. Denney needed to oversee when he wouldn't have needed to if there was a director. This is insane. The amount of gaslighting on this end of the table over here is just incredible. You want to protect this board, Kari? You would have kept the specialist library lawyer. That would have protected this board a lot better because she knows what she's doing. So, let's see. The reconsideration FOIA to see who challenged Fred Gets Stressed. Guess what? I FOIA'd all of the reconsideration forms and I was denied. So that's why I was going through board packets and found that Foster Swift memo, okay? So you can't. That would be redacted, actually. And actually, was it Peggy said that the information in the invoice, for the lawyer invoice, had library patrons' names? You actually said that. You revealed that I'm a library patron, and you're not supposed to do that.
I said possibly.
Okay, well I am. I am a proud library patron, just for the record. But does anyone know the definition of verbal abuse? Because I was at the Lapeer Township meeting, and by the way, everyone should go online and see that. It's a 12-minute clip. Absolutely amazing responses by William Hamilton was there. You don't have to hide it. He was at a public meeting saying it. His response was just incredible. And really just disrespectful to me and to Susan, who were there. Now, building issues, we're using that as...
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Kari.
Anybody else? You've already spoke, sorry. Public comment. No, public comment time. You've already spoke. Thank you.
Why can't you come up again?
Because we only allow for one time. It's in our policies. You can go ahead.
It's so you can't point out the crap you heard during the meeting.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Peggy Brotzke, and I'm from here, and I'm really nervous because I've never done this before. So I've never been to a meeting before. So I've been kind of taking this all in and trying to absorb everything. And I'm just really confused because this is a community, and we're supposed to be supporting each other. And it's like, I don't understand why, like, one group is being excluded. I mean, I feel like the people who support the LGBTQ rights, like, why wouldn't their literature be accepted too? I mean, why wouldn't all the literature be accepted? We're not trying to exclude anyone, but that seems to be the goal, is like exclusion. And again, like, I mean, we're a community. We're supposed to be supporting one another. We're supposed to be elevating one another. And I really, like, I have to say, I'm sorry for pointing this out, but I was so distressed when you called the police. I mean, we're presented with, like, opposing ideas, which is, I think, what this is about. And instead of addressing those opposing ideas, you called law enforcement when they were, they're supposed to be out on the streets, working for, us, the people. And yet they're here watching us, argue. So, I mean, I think we need to be a community.
I need you to address the board, please.
Sorry.
That's okay.
We need to be a community, and I think we need to support one another, and we all have the same rights. And I don't feel like those same rights are being addressed or acknowledged. Like, we're not trying to exclude anyone. It should be everybody. It should be inclusive. So, thank you.
My name's Melissa Malcolm. I was the director here for 10 years. And I always wait till the end of the meeting so that I
libraries conference coming up. It is free for Michigan trustees and friends because the Library of Michigan paid for it. So I would hope that you would look into that and see what they have to offer you as a board. I would just make this statement. Children do have First Amendment rights. The Supreme Court said so back when I was a school librarian. I'm very disappointed that the meeting time has changed to 10 o'clock. One of the reasons that we changed it in 2018 was so that, yes, people could come to the meetings, but also so that people who were still working would be able to come after work and serve on the board. At that point, it was mostly retired people, and their perspectives were great, but they weren't 25 years old with children and looking at the services that the library offers. And the other thing, the one thing I asked last time, your reasons for wanting to serve on the board and your goals for the library. I would like to know what those are. And I am sorry that you are feeling beat up. I really, really am. I know this is difficult for you, but I think if you open up and you're honest about where you want to take this library and what you want to do with it, I think it'll be much better for you. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Brian Cloutier, resident of the district. Yes, I am the individual who lawyered up. But with that being said, I have no intention in suing the district library. I love this library. I started my career here 30 years ago. I've been in this industry not 30 years because it's a lucrative career, but 30 years because I love what I do. I love what I do, like this person loves what she does, and she loves what she does. We love what we do. We don't do it for the money. We do it because we love what we do. I'll tell you what, I have been called more names and slandered more than you can imagine. Things that were so inaccurately said about me as a human being that are appalling. Been there, I understand. It's uncomfortable. When you are in public service, you are under a microscope. Whether you like it or not, it's part of the job. So get some thick skin, because it's not going to go away. But I understand what you're going through because I've been there myself. Now you can change the meeting to 10 o'clock on Thursday. You might get rid of a few people in this room. I have enough vacation time. I'm going to continue to be here. So that isn't going to get rid of me. That being said, what you're doing by stonewalling the two colleagues that you have over here is it's appalling, it's disrespectful, and you know, actions say a lot about an individual. And the fact that it appears, allegedly, that you've made up your mind before you even walked into this room, and you don't even acknowledge that you have two colleagues down here, you have attorney in between them. It's just, this is not how library boards operate. I've been with library boards for years, decades, and we don't operate like this. I don't know what's happening here, but something's got to give at some point, and we need some civility. I mean, it's just crazy and ludicrous the way that we conduct business. You voted on something that wasn't even on the agenda this evening. Really, seriously, think about what you're doing.
Anyone else in the public like to speak?
Susan Huff, and I am with Fight for the First Lapeer very proudly. You are a library board. You were appointed to set aside your personal interests and act in the best interest in all matters for this library. You weren't appointed to proselytize. You weren't appointed to represent only the 83 folks who signed your cringe online petition. You weren't appointed to protect children, and you weren't appointed to destroy this library. But that is your real goal, isn't it? There's a little cabal in Lapeer that wants to get millages off their property tax bills. They tried and failed with the EMS millage last year, and it looks like some of you may be part of that group. You signed petitions for Ask My Tax and bought their silly hats, knowing if that initiative were to pass, this library would lose almost 90% of its funding. So, what if it doesn't pass? But you've got that covered too. Your cabal has harassed, bullied, and threatened our librarians who are our neighbors and our friends. You've challenged inclusive children's books. You fought to restrict access based on your personal beliefs. You have folks thinking the library is a subsidiary of an adult novelty store. As one trustee has admitted, they're only concerned about a few books out of almost 80,000 pieces of printed material in our collections. To quote a librarian friend of mine, if we're queering the collection, as they say, we're doing a horrible job of it. You're scaring people away from the library, because if they visit the library, they will see that what you're trying to sell just is not true. And you need their support to put your new collection policies in place, preferably before a new director arrives. So let's not pass an amendment that lets folks see policies before you vote on them. So what's that do? It undermines the integrity of the library. And how would that help you defund the library? Well, you hope the voting bloc that always supports library millages, the informed, inclusive, education-loving, freedom-loving voters of this county will vote against the millage as a protest vote against this board. Axe My Tax is going to fail, but the voters in the library district are in this for the long haul. We love our library, and we will not let you defund it. And the voters, whether they're Democratic, Independent, and Republican, they'll be here to defend this library and continue to fight to access information long after none of you remain on this board. And if you really want to see something interesting, watch the clip on Fight for the First Lapeer's YouTube page. You will hear my comments. You will hear an unhinged board member. You will hear an unhinged ad hoc committee member. And I do have QR codes if you want to be able to just shoot that and get right to the film.
Thank you, your time's up. Anyone else from the public like to speak?
My name is Shirley Tomzak. I've been a resident of Dryden Township for over 50 years. And you want to know what our goal is? It's to have a nonpartisan library board who is supporting the right for people to read. And the reason we have started out talking about banning books is that several of the 4 board members who are Tea Party members, who are Moms for Liberty members, whatever, several of you have expressed verbally that you want to restrict access to books. That's why we're here. I also want to react to a couple of things that were said. We are not a democracy. We are not a republic. We are a democratic republic. And in the words of Heather Cox Richardson, who is an esteemed historian in American history, that's like saying, I don't have a dog, I have a Labrador retriever. We are a democratic republic. The words under God were added to the Pledge of Allegiance in 1954. Was not in the original Pledge of Allegiance. We are not a Christian nation. This nation was established to protect citizens from the persecutions of religion that they experienced in their home countries. We are a pluralistic society, and we need to be able to have the freedom that the Constitution gives us. And I think that the people who are on this board who also attend Tea Party meetings are suspect to me, because I watch what goes on in the current administration, and I know what Tea Party members say, and to have 4 members of our board who have weaseled their way in by being appointed by their husbands or their friends on the county commission, to have you outweighing.
I'm sorry, your time's done. Thank you.
Outweighing discussion is appalling.
Thank you. I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second, discussion, all those in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.
What a meeting, man. Yeah, I was gonna tell you what happened. I fell off 16 foot ladder. I think pushing. I shouldn't even come to the last thing, but I just felt like I hit it. Yeah, I'm doing really well.
Yeah. I've been in 2 different cars crashed.